Well, an Australian not-for-profit has won a major international award for children's and young adult literature. The Indigenous Literacy Foundation, which works with remote Aboriginal communities to create books in Indigenous languages, took home the top prize of $725,000. The award for outstanding contribution to young literature is the largest of its kind in the world, and I'm very pleased to say we are now joined by CEO of the Indigenous Literacy Foundation, Ben Bowen. I'm having trouble with that word literacy today. Hi, Ben. You've been shortlisted twice, but the persistence has finally paid off. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Thank you. Look, this is the third time we got shortlisted and we finally got the award, and it was very much a shock. I didn't have anything prepared for the win, and we had all our messages ready to go to be celebrating a shortlisting again, so we're still in shock.
It's an amazing achievement. I mean, you bested 245 other organisations from 68 countries. I mean, clearly the work that the Indigenous Literacy Foundation does stood out. Tell us a little bit about what the charity does.
Look, it stands out because we're only an organisation of 30 people. We have thousands of volunteers and amazing people that support us, and over 427 communities that partner with us as well. So this is really about their journey on the organisation. We do a couple of things. We get books out into communities, so we supply over 130,000 books every year out to 400 communities. They're all culturally relevant. We work with our communities to find which books they want. Over 50% of those are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander authors as well. So it's a really booming industry for us, and we also work in publishing. So we support our communities to write the stories they want and in the languages they want, and sometimes working bilingual as well. So lots of language work.
I mean, I imagine that's quite an involved process, making books that are so culturally sensitive to specific locations. Just like zooming in a little bit, can you explain what that process is like to create a book? Like, what's the consultation like, and then how does it get distributed?
Yeah, like, we do not work with the community without being invited in, and that's the key one for us. So we can spend years working with communities before they trust us with their content. But working with them, it's a very close relationship we build, of deep understanding. It's very hard for us to work in Australia. There's over 250 different languages, sometimes 800 different dialects, depending where we are. And that's a big challenge for us, is we don't necessarily have the skills to work in all those languages, so that's where the communities are key partners. They're the IP owners of all that content as well. So we trust them, we work with them. It can be a slow process at times, and the story we do have is the Hungry Caterpillar, when we tried to translate that, and it took us over 16 months for the word lollipop because the community didn't have a word for lollipop. So there are challenges in this, but this is what makes our living languages and works with our communities to make sure that their languages survive throughout the future.
Now, this prize money, I mean, it's $750,000. I know you've only known for a couple of days that you've even got access to this kind of money, but do you have an idea of where you're going to put it, what you're going to do with it?
Look, we didn't expect to win, so we were laughing about this earlier, that we don't actually have it in the budget this year, so we've got a good problem there. But look, for us, we don't take government money. We are purely funded by everyday Australians and corporations that fund us, and the community lead every direction of the organisation. So this money will help us build sustainability. It's not about building anything new for us. It's about working with those communities to go deeper and understand what their aspirations are, and ensure that we can achieve everything that they're setting out in the next 5 to 10 years.
And when you say sustainability, do you mean sort of providing the foundations for communities to be doing this kind of thing themselves?
Absolutely. So everything we do is about teaching skills. So when communities come to us and publish in language, those skills stay with those communities, so they can go off and do more projects. So generally our first project with them is a slow process as we build trust, and then those projects come out quite quickly. So a community like Fitzroy Crossing is a great example, that we had a book 2 years ago up there. That took us a while, and then off the back of that, 4 books popped out ready to go. But this is the key part for it, is the communities really drive this. They will tell us where they need our attention, and so we try not to jump them and budget things too quickly, trying to listen and be respectful of their wishes.
And this prize you've got is an international one. I imagine there's a lot of other countries looking at the kind of work that you guys are doing and wanting to emulate it. Do you get approached by communities overseas, asked about, how to go about something like this?
There's a lot of interest in that, and often we talk about in Australia that, the Indigenous population over here, we all look at the Maoris and we look at America and Canada about what's going and what's working around the world. This is unique for us because now the world's looking at us, seeing what we're doing, and it's a privileged position for the ILF because, as I said, we're not in this alone. We do the operations, but our communities are the ones leading this project. So we're really looking at our communities about how they're doing this and trying to replicate that across the world.
Oh, it's fantastic work you're doing, and I'm glad you're being recognised on an international stage and you've got some budget to do it with now. Ben Bone from the Indigenous Literacy Foundation, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.